we were very intentional about having trans voices be heard. The T is never silent.
We have a responsibility as gay men and women to lend our voice to even the most vulnerable in our community, and that is the trans community.
What's up, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Gay Rugby Podcast. We're in downtown Los Angeles at DTLA Proud Festival, and I'm here with Ozzy and Milton.
Hi.
Ozzy's flight was delayed. He came right from the Bad Bunny concert.
I did a lot of partying and not a lot of sleeping.
I want to see Bad Bunny so badly.
But speaking of traveling, Milton, you're visiting us from Mexico City also, right?
Yes, I've been living there for 5 years.
And you also were part of one of the founders of DTLA Proud Festival.
Yep.
Why don't you tell us a little bit about your role and how you helped get that off the ground?
Yes, so when I came on board after Oliver and Andres came up with the concept for DTLA Proud, one of my big pieces was to really bring in the nonprofit piece of the community because both of them have a huge business background. And for them, it was important to make sure that we were very inclusive of each part of our LGBT community. And for me, my biggest piece was thinking about public health. And so I reached out to my ton of network and really thought, how important would it be for every aspect of our community, not just physical health, but mental health and also like the communal space of health. So
very cool. That's what I love about the DTLA Proud Festival is it's much more community-based than some of the larger Pride festivals like West Hollywood, where there's a lot of corporate sponsors. It feels much more like it's for the community, by the community.
Definitely.
I also like that you guys provide a lot of resources. I mean, obviously, resources are available at most, if not all, festivals. But this community or this festival, to me, seems to be there's a lot more representation of people of color.
Definitely.
And so I think having resources is very, very important for this community because historically, those are the communities that have been underserved.
Exactly.
And so I'm glad that you came on board to kind of like spearhead that effort.
And I got to give credit to Oliver because that was very intentional from the very beginning. And not just, we've all been to Prides, different parts of the country. And there's always a big focus on sexual health. And we were very specific that, we're whole people. We have mental health issues. We have sexual health issues. We have general health issues.
Yeah.
We have financial issues. And so we were very intentional about which community partners we brought in. And we didn't want to just give out condoms or do HIV testing, but we wanted to do a whole holistic approach when it came to our consumers and our customers and our visitors at DTLA Proud.
That's amazing. Very cool. And so the festival has been happening for 10 years. This is the 10-year anniversary. What is like the biggest accomplishment of the festival? It's something that you're most proud of.
Okay, that's a really great question. I think for me, one of my most fondest memories, and one of the ones I even talking about it right now, I get chills, is thinking about how we were very intentional about having trans voices be heard. Even as a board, we talked about like the T is never silent. And I remember the year, some years back, when there were issues in downtown at a certain business. We won't say which business, where they were very disrespectful and dismissive of the trans community. And, it was the same weekend as our festival. And we, without missing a beat, we reprogrammed and we made sure we highlighted and made amends in a way we could to make sure that our trans brothers and sisters were welcomed and knew that they were being supported in our space.
Amazing.
So
that's really cool.
About it. It shows.
And I know that we've said this many, many, many times, and I will say it again because it is worth saying again, that we have a responsibility as gay men and women to lend our voice to even the most vulnerable in our community, and that is the trans community. I
agree 100%. And I think a lot of times we get really complacent because, we're either gay or we're lesbian or we're bisexual, and we think, okay, they're a part of our umbrella, and it's an umbrella kind of term. But again, if the T remains silent, all of us are silent. And so I think it's very important to just be very thoughtful of our trans brothers and sisters in the community and not just, helping us create space for them, but also speaking up for them when they're not in the rooms. I think that's one of the things that we don't do as much is when we're in spaces where trans people aren't in the rooms, sometimes we kind of shrivel up and get silent, or we think, okay, they're not talking about us. I'm not going to say anything. I don't want to murky up the waters, but that's when you need to speak up the most and let them know that, loud and proud, I'm going to support trans people because they're a part of our community.
Yeah, remember that it may be them today and it'll be us tomorrow.
Yep.
So it's important that we speak up when we have the opportunity to. Silence is complicity, right?
I agree, 100%.
Honestly, dude, Popstar has been a game changer. I've been taking it for the past like 2 to 3 weeks. And at first I didn't really notice anything, but once you take it consistently, like 4 pills a day for 2 to 3 weeks,
Bigger loads, better taste, baby.
huge. It's crazy. Popstar has been a game changer. Definitely recommend it. And make sure that you check out the link in the description for a little bit of a deal.
Yeah.
And you can get on Popstar. So
Yeah, check it out. Try it. It's sometimes there's products in the market that you try and it's like the placebo effect. It's
Totally.
You think that it's something's happening, but in this case, I mean, there's a tangible difference.
there's a
So
tangible
you'll-
outcome. There's a physical result from taking this. It's not the placebo effect. You will have real results. And your partner will also appreciate them, I'm sure. But your cleaning lady, maybe not so much.
Yeah. So tip your cleaning lady.
Yes, tip your cleaning lady.
You were here for the very first festival. How was the very first? Well, tell us about the first festival, the location, and what you remember about that.
Ooh.
Because we kind of were chatting about this a little bit.
Challenges of throwing the first one.
So I would say the biggest challenge I think for us was there were 2 big ones. One was the spacing. I think we didn't anticipate how well received we would be for the community that first year. Again, because at that point there were 3 other prides happening, and it was great to see the community rally around. But we had a good problem to have. We had too many people and not enough space. The other big piece that we had to deal with was the heat. You had a lot of people in a smaller space with lots of heat. But as the day went on, I will say this. People's faces kept getting lighter and lighter and more smiley as the day went on. I don't know, not just because of the drinks, but also because of the entertainment and the camaraderie.
Yeah, the
But
vibe.
I remember by the end of the evening, maybe like 7 or 8, as they started building and building, there was a sense of like you were at a moment. And I remember we talked about this before. I'm a big Selena fan, and there was a Selena impersonator, and I don't know what the hell she did, but she brought everybody together. She did like 4 songs back to back, but that was the moment where I thought the festival kind of like came together, and it was like pumping nonstop.
That's where it's like all worth it.
Where it cemented its position.
Yeah. And being specific for me, very specific to downtown LA. Like, it felt like it was very, again, I'm born and raised in LA, been in other festivals, but I think having that moment where you had the Tejana star that she is, who brings people from all cultures together, I remember looking at the audience, I was like, damn, there's Black people, there's Latinos, there's white people. Selena brought everybody together. That impersonator brought everybody together, and it was like the heart of LA pumping. That moment.
One thing I will say, and this is obviously just my perspective, but I feel like many people agree. Maybe some will disagree. But in LA, historically, we've had LA Pride, which used to be held in West Hollywood, which obviously goes by a different name now. And it was always inclusive, but sometimes you didn't necessarily feel the inclusivity part of it. And so I remember speaking with my friends when DTLA Proud was announced. We're like, finally, a festival, a Pride festival that's in LA proper that we can go to and say like, this is LA.
Yep.
This is inclusive. And when we attended, we saw a sea of varying colors, and that just solidified it. I was like, this is exactly what we thought it was going to be.
I remember that moment when we walked in. We plan, and I will say one thing, I don't know if other people have talked about this earlier, but our turnaround time for planning was pretty quick that first year. I think we probably had about 3 to 4 months of like solid planning, in our own silos, trying to work together to make this festival happen. And then that crescendo happened, opened up the first hour. And I remember looking out and I'm like, there's not silos. Like, you would go to West Hollywood, you go to other communities, you see like Latinos over here, Black people over here. People were together, and it was like this like natural assembly of people brought together. And I love seeing that 10 years later. Even today, it's the same kind of vibe that's there.
Yeah.
And so what are some of the endeavors that you're up to nowadays? Now you live in Mexico City. Well, what trouble or good are you getting into?
Well, I will say I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Mexico City is also the sister city of LA.
Okay.
Yeah, it's one of our sister cities. So I love being able to be involved in the LGBT community as well in Mexico City as I am here. But I'm an actor, so I've acted here, but I act in Mexico City as well. And I'm actually in LA this weekend for a movie that just came out that I'm in. If you get a chance to see it, it's called Trust with Sophie Turner. And it was really cool because, you know, the movie is not premiering in Mexico City, which is kind of weird, but we shot it there. It's not premiering there. So it premiered here in LA. And so it was really cool that a lot of my friends in the LGBT community are watching the movie when I get back on Amazon as a group. And we're going to donate the money to the support of the center over there.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah, it's kind of cool.
That's great. Very cool.
But yeah, so we're sister cities. So we really would love to have a connection where more people from LA go to Mexico City and support the community there.
Well, you know, we were talking about the first summer tramp. Sorry, the first DTLA Proud Festival. Summer Tramp was part of it. Andres was here earlier, and I did ask him, I'm like, do you ever envision like Summer Tramp? You know, maybe traveling or anything. Now that you're in Mexico City and you have that connection with Andres, what do you think about maybe having Summer Tramp in Mexico City?
Okay, I love that you're asking this question. And I want Andres to remember this because we've talked about this. We are ready. And so I know a lot of people, they think, you know, Puerto Vallarta is a great place for the LGBT community, and it is. It's one of the heartbeats of the country as it returns to LGBT. But the biggest pride in Mexico is in Mexico City. So why not have one of the best parties in LA, our sister city, Summer Tramp, have their debut in the country in Mexico City. We have ample space. Awesome. We have lots of green space. We have more flights than Puerto Vallarta, and we're an international hub of Latin America. Mexico City would be a great Summer Tramp.
And and also the other thing that I would say is, if you're in Puerto Vallarta, you're probably already going to be in the water anyway. So if you can take the water to the city center in Mexico City, amazing. I'm all for it.
I love it.
I will throw my efforts behind that.
Yes.
And we do actually have a really big international rugby tournament coming up in Mexico City. So Milton, I wanted to ask you if you've ever played rugby.
It's a great question. So I've never played rugby, but I'm a diehard fan. I spent a year in London, so I love rugby, but I can't play for shit. But I will definitely be in the stands to play.
Mexico City, you can come check it out.
I will definitely be there. You guys have your dates already?
2027.
I will be there.
Yeah, 2027. We don't have dates though.
Okay.
Once those dates come out, we'll let you know.
And I don't know if it's an LGBT Pacific team, but I do know, because I don't know if you guys know this, but you guys already know probably, Guadalajara held the gay games a couple of years back.
Yes.
And I remember that there were people from Mexico City that went to the gay games that were part of the rugby team.
Querétaro Spicy.
Querétaro
Spicy Rugby. So they are going to be the host of the North American Rugby Cup in 2027. That is going to be held in Mexico City.
I'm definitely there.
So maybe now that the seed has been planted, we can work on doing something that adds some seasoning. That would be a little more seasoning.
Whatever I can do to help, I'm there. I'm supported.
Awesome. Well, Milton, thank you so much for joining us today on this episode of the Gay Rugby Podcast. Make sure to like, subscribe, comment, and share, and hit that notification bell to change your preferences to notify all. And we're going to go jump in the pool and hop on the water slide.
And remember, don't just play the sport.
Change the sport.
All right, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning into another episode of the Gay Rugby Podcast. If you liked this video, do us a favor and subscribe. Hit that bell to change your preferences to notify all. And that way you'll get a notification every time a new episode comes out, which is going to be every Monday. So share this video with a friend, like, comment, and we appreciate the support. We'll catch you on the rugby pitch. See ya.